All right, JP, welcome to the Kingcast.
Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it. I'm
Go ahead
excited
and
to be
take a
here.
second. Yeah, I'm excited to have you, man. Go ahead and take a second to introduce yourself to all the viewers and listeners.
Yeah, sounds good. So my name is Jean-Pierre Movaghar. I go by JP. I am the co-founder of Opium Mastery and owner of Oak Media.
I like that title. That's a lot going on there. All
Yeah.
right. So, tell me, man, how do we get there?
Yeah. Where should I start? Like,
Let's
just
start post high school. So, all right. So, just a background. I know JP from high school. We had a few mutual friends. David, Benji, all those guys. I need to get
yeah,
David on this show too, man.
I know.
I think,
Another beast.
yeah. Um, so yeah, let's start from high school. After high school, what was your plan? What went according to plan? What didn't go according to plan? Because much doesn't go according to plan after high school.
Yeah. Yeah. After high school, things were a bit unclear. I did community college for 2 years, then I transferred to another school, tried doing the corporate route. I always kind of sucked at school, to be honest with you. You probably know that. So,
Join the club.
I still struggled. I still had that struggle learning in your traditional school environment. And so I seeked education outside of school. So thankfully, I had the opportunity to learn from other mentors. I was working at a bank all throughout school, so a lot of the upper managers kind of took me under their wing. Um, you know, Gave me a lot of exposure to things that you typically for a 19-year-old you wouldn't have that kind of exposure. So that was really, really good. And they just really put me in a direction where I could really grow and really be myself and thrive. So I was blessed to have that opportunity to the point where the knowledge and experiences that I was having outside of school, I would take to school, and you could tell the difference. Like I found myself ahead, but in a different way, right? So that's really what happened from there. And then once I graduated school, I tried doing a couple different businesses, and my first two businesses failed. I tried doing those businesses while still working in the banking industry. And so it's like I was working over 14 hours a day for years, and it sucked. Like it was just really tough to manage relationships, family, friends, the failures that were happening at the time, even though today, 2020 hindsight, I look at them as lessons, but nonetheless, no need to sugarcoat it. They were failures. So that's kind of what happened after high school. Today, things are much more different. You just have to go through those trials and errors. Everybody learns in their own way. And so here we are.
I like that. All right. Okay.
Oh,
Well, yeah, and I don't think people really realize how many first time businesses fail.
yeah.
Starting the business is the easy part. I mean, maintaining it.
Yeah.
I'm going through that now. Like I started off hot. Now I'm kind of hit that plateau. I'm not really getting as
Mhm.
much business as I initially was. So I'm just like, oh, let's re-strategize and all this stuff. But okay, so what inspired you not only to start your own business, but what inspired you to go into the field that you're in? So I think your field is very interesting. It's like the wave of the future.
Yeah, yeah. So if I were to start with the first company, OPM Mastery, so that is a financial services and consulting and also educational program all in one, right? And what really inspired me is at the age of 18, I got my first credit card, and the banker did no explaining, no education around that to
Mhm.
me. And I didn't grow up learning any of that stuff either. So I went through some really, really tough times early on, just for the lack of education around credit and how important it was, right? So there was that experience. And then the other thing, so that by itself is one inspiration, is I just was like, I never want other people to go through what I went through. And then me working in banking, starting at age like 19 or 20, I was able to just help hundreds of people, literally families, individuals, small business owners, navigate through consumer credit and business credit. And so I just found myself very passionate about it because of my personal experiences and also helping people through a transformation of their own. So that's where OPM Mastery kind of came in. It was like, great. I have all of this under my belt. I found an amazing co-founder to go into this with. We had both been working individually in credit repair for a couple years. For me, it was only about a year and a half. He was doing it a little bit longer. And we were connected through social media, and we're like, hey, let's just chat. Let's see, if we can work together in any capacity. He had a vision that was very aligned with mine, and we were like, all right, let's do it. So we combined essentially our companies or our practices into one, and then OPM Mastery launched in February of this year.
All right, so you're coming up on a year
Yeah.
shortly here.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, congratulations, man. That's
Hey,
big stuff going on there. And then it's a good cause too. I think that's really important. If you're going to start a business, it has to be something that you one care about, and I think one that doesn't just make money but contributes to the community as well. I think that's important. We don't get a lot of that in the business world
100%.
nowadays. So that's good.
Yeah.
And what about your other company?
Yeah, so Oak Media, the inspiration from that is just my family. So I come from an immigrant family, and all of them are either small business owners or solopreneurs, and I'm proud of every single one of them. I really owe my values and how I navigated through life and how I grew to them. So I wanted to really start something on the side that represented those values, right? And so with Oak Media right now, the focus is just a business coaching program, which is called Scaling with Impact. And it's really to pass on all of my experience, all of my knowledge with the values that I grew up with, which happen to be pretty healthy values as well for business, and just pass that on to as many people as I can. So that's the inspiration behind that.
I like that. I like that. Okay. And then
Yeah,
that's good because you're gonna keep learning new things every day, and just you're gonna be able to
exactly.
transfer that to clients. And I
Yeah,
like that. Okay, that's good stuff.
yeah,
Like I said, I love the not just the entrepreneurship, but I like the values behind it and the
oh yeah.
contribution to the greater good. I think that's so important in business. I feel like you know I had another guest on the show and he said something to me that kind of stuck with me. And he was just like, people should really reevaluate the statement, you shouldn't mix business with pleasure. Because and when I say pleasure, I'm not talking like, like relationships. I'm just talking having a deeper relationship with your clients, because at the end of the,
Mhm.
like your business model is literally just helping people. It's helping
Yeah,
people go on the right path and the path to financial freedom and have, happiness in that sector of life. And to me, that goes beyond just business. That's you genuinely trying to help people, and I feel like we need to see more of that in the business world. I feel like certain
yeah.
fields and just in certain companies just cold cut business, 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 and there's that saying, it's not, it's business, not personal. I'm just like, in some aspects, yes, I get that, but I think it's
Yeah,
a little naive to not think business and personal mix, because we're people, so everything we do is
exactly.
personal, and
100%.
I just like, that's the one thing I've been noticing since I reformatted my show here, is that the people who come on and talk about their business, it's not just a business. It's a
Yeah.
model to better the community, and I love
Right.
it. I'm all about positive vibes
Yeah.
and building a better world, than it was when we got here. That should. I mean, I think that's no one knows the meaning of life. I think there's multiple meanings to life, to be honest, but I think one of them is to do what you can to contribute to the world being a better place after you leave it than it was when you got there. So kudos to you. You're taking a good step, and you know what? It's a great thing to help people. I think it's even better to be able to help people and help yourself too, and
Yeah.
that's a good step. So we got the inspiration.
Yeah.
We've got the background story there. Now, what is the everyday experience for you? Because now, we're not just talking one company, we're talking two companies.
Yeah.
So what is the everyday life of JP juggling two companies at once?
Yeah, man, I'll tell you, it's taken a lot of work to be able to manage the two. So thankfully for the coaching program, it's still something that's fairly new. Even though I launched the company itself in late 2019, and I did a couple of different things with it. Now with just focusing on coaching for the last 3 to 4 months, I control the volume. You know what I mean? Is I would rather have quality one-on-one client time rather than high volume. So quality over quantity, always wins. So that allows me to stay focused on my primary company, OPM Mastery, right? That's where a lot of the heavy lifting, a lot of the heavy work is done. That's where a lot of my time, focus, and energy goes to. And so, I would say most of the day, let's say from 8:30 till about 4 is purely financial services focused. So I handle all the operations for just everything that needs to work in the company, while everybody else works their magic on sales, customer management, all of that. And so, yeah, that's my entire days. Operations, meetings with the team, ensuring the standards are in place, always looking for improvement. So I'm very consumer centric. So I'm always auditing our customer experience. So there are literally improvements that get implemented on a weekly or bi-weekly basis. And then pretty much once 4:30 hits, then I shift my focus for maybe an extra hour and a half, maybe even 2, on the coaching content, on those clients, because like with coaching, you're really meeting with clients maybe twice a week, which is very manageable, and it's usually for about an hour and a half. So, and then there are some clients over on the West Coast, so they're 3 hours behind us here in DC. So it's like by the end of the day, all of the heavy lifting I needed to do is done, right? I can now transition over to something that's more low energy work, but also focused. So I'm not in a chaotic headspace. So I'm going in with a little bit more calmness, more collected, focus on the client, serving, no distractions. So to have that last hour and a half or 2 in the day be in that sort of vibe is a great way to end the day, because then I'm going home, I'm feeling good, I served my purpose for the day, hit everything I needed to hit, my clients are happy, my team is happy. I can go home with absolute peace of mind. So that's typically what my day-to-day looks like.
Wow, you actually just kind of segued into my next question. I was going to ask
Yeah.
you about the work-life balance, but it seems like you've already kind of, and that's another thing. It seems like you figured out how to get what you need out of the day for work, and it seems like
Yeah.
you're able to end it and then just go home and focus on you, focus on JP and
Yeah.
what JP needs. So, is the work-life balance? I know it's going to be tough, especially just starting out in the last year or so, but is it manageable?
Today, it's a lot more manageable. So I actually quit my 9 to 5 in the banking industry in May of this year. So before that, I was working my 9 to 5. I would get home at, let's say, 6, and then I would eat dinner, spend time with my wife, and then I would jump into work again until
What
midnight, 1 a.m.
time out?
And
Wife? Did I miss
wife,
that?
yeah, of course.
When'd you get
Yeah, I
married,
guess.
man?
I got married in August of 2019, so
Okay,
it's been a few years.
congratulations.
Thanks, man. Appreciate
Okay,
it.
all right,
Yeah, we've been together
nice.
for over 5 years, man. So at some point, I had to be like, all right, let's make this move.
So okay,
Yeah,
we're gonna come back to that because
that's
we don't
cool.
just talk about business here. But okay, well, congratulations. I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Okay,
thanks, man. Appreciate it.
okay. Sorry to interrupt. I had to throw that
No,
in
you're
there.
good. You're
Okay.
good. Yeah. So yeah, it was a lot harder with the 9 to 5. So ever since I quit, the first 2 to 3 months of going all in business was still tough, even without the 9 to 5, because the intensity was just there early on. So, but eventually I started to notice that everything I worked hard to balance out regarding relationship, family, and friends, all the negatives started to creep up again. I was like, ooh, okay, this is bad. So let's set some boundaries in order to avoid all of those bad things happening again. And so I just set some really like clear boundaries with my co-founder, with my team. I'm like, guys, I know I'm 3 hours ahead, but at that point, I need to do a hard stop. I need to focus on, my family, my wife, my friends, myself. So, putting in those boundaries and doing that hard stop is super crucial. I know there's this over glorified mentality out there where entrepreneurship is like needs to be intense and hyped 24/7. And I'll tell you, like, that you can do that and it's not a bad thing for 6 to 12 months, but anything after that, it's unsustainable, it's unhealthy. I did it myself, right? So at some point you have to set boundaries for yourself, or else everything around you is going to come crushing down, and then at some point you're going to ask yourself, wow, like I can see that even though I'm seeing a little bit of success in this little bubble I'm in, everything around me is crashing. So is it even worth it at this point? Right. So yeah, it's taken a lot of work to get here, but thankfully everything is under control.
Well, that's good. That's good to know that you've kind of reined it in. Because now getting married, starting because you started Oak Media the same year you got married, right? In 2019.
Yeah, yeah. What was it? 3 months later. Yeah.
So we're getting married, we're starting a business. The next
Yep.
year we're starting another business. And at
Yeah.
the time, still working the 9 to 5 until recently. Man,
Yeah.
that's a
It
lot
was
of
crazy.
that's a lot of work-life balance. But I'm glad you
Yeah.
figured it out because I don't think people really understand how important work-life balance is until it hits you in a negative way.
Yep.
Like for me, so I work in IT now. But before I got into that, I was in car sales.
Mhm.
Um, so I had a lot of like you 12 to 14-hour days, pretty much on my feet the whole time. No holidays, no benefits, no PTO, and just some work, 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 work. I had no
Yep.
work-life balance. I was
Right.
so stressed. I mean, I was like, what, 22 at the time, super stressed. I was literally getting a bald spot in the middle of my hair. I had to cut my hair off because I was
Gee,
balding.
man.
That's how stressed I was.
Yeah. Yeah.
Had an opportunity to get into IT. Um, got the job. I'm like a government contractor, so I get all the PTO, all that stuff. Oh my gosh, man! I've been at it for 2 years now, and I still like find myself like in awe that I'm like off on the weekends and like I'm
Mm-hmm.
gonna be off on Monday
Yep.
for Indigenous People Day.
Yeah.
That helped mentally. That was like a huge like weight off my shoulders, just being able to have the opportunity to have a work life balance.
Right.
Uh, so that's important because if your mental health is off, nothing it affects everything else. And I feel like
Yeah.
especially as a business owner, your mental health has to be your number one priority because if you're the business owner, this is your biggest tool right here.
Exactly.
So it's good to
Exactly.
know that you prioritize that and give yourself a cutoff point. Like, okay, it's family time now because a brand new marriage, brand new business. That's a lot to balance. You got to get the businessy attention. You got to get the wifey attention. I mean,
Yep.
so it's good to know that you've found a good balance in that.
Yeah, thank you, man. And just to add on something that you just mentioned about, mental health and all of that. So burning out, being a business owner, it's common, man. It happens all the time. For me, sometimes it happens in like mini versions on a weekly basis, right? And you just have to have the self-awareness to really stop what you're doing and acknowledge it, address it, and figure it out. So for me, when was it last Thursday? I woke up and I just knew like I was exhausted. As soon as I woke up, I was grumpy. I was exhausted. I wasn't even like, usually I start my days very positively and I, have my daily affirmations and things. I wasn't even looking forward to doing my daily affirmation. I was like, all right, this is already a really big red flag. So I worked from home. I I think I took like 5 naps that day. I still took my meetings and just focused on low energy administrative tasks. And I noticed some people out there that's like, oh, that's impossible or things like that. I'm like, no, you can make it possible. You just have to really want to make it possible and you have to make it work. Right. And the next day I bounced back 110%. I was like a whole nother human being on Friday and I ended the week on a high note, right? So burning out is so common. We just have to do our part in how we manage it and prioritize it.
Yeah, man, it's one of those things that's unavoidable. If you're
Yeah.
working hard, you're gonna get burnt out sometimes. Now you touched on something. You said your daily affirmation. So that's something that me personally I've just gotten into.
Mhm.
So what are your affirmations, if you don't mind me asking?
Yeah, sure. So let's start with, yeah, I'll kind of just read it from the top of my head here. I have it on a whiteboard. So I live a healthy lifestyle. I am very clear with my intentions and my why. I'm only making decisions that work for me and my goals, and I can elaborate on that a little bit later. Um, and then this one is a bit controversial, but it works for me. I am thinking like Steve Jobs, but executing like Jeff Bezos. Those are just two people that, in their own way, play a big part in how I go about my day to day when it comes to business. The other one is I am always serving. What is it? I am always serving with impact when it comes to my team and my customers. So that's pretty much it.
Yeah, someone's gonna get offended by that Steve Jobs, Jeff Bezos line, but who cares? Okay, well, I like
Yeah.
that, man. That's something. So I do therapy every week, and just to, I feel like everyone should at least try it because it's
Yeah.
helped me realize a lot of things about myself that I didn't know,
Hmm.
and you know that's something that I've been focusing on is really maintaining a positive attitude and a positive mindset because it's when you get these negative thoughts and these, for me it's more like self-limiting thoughts and stuff like that, that can overcome. So waking up and just kind of rehearsing these positive affirmations
Yeah.
are so important, and it's when I do it I can feel the difference, and if I don't I can feel the difference, like with my mood. Like, so I have two. So like the lock screen on my phone is, today I will not stress over things I can't control. So that's
Yeah.
something that I constantly see throughout the day. Anytime I look at my phone, it's the first thing I see, like boom, remember that. And then I have like a affirmation. um it's called the serenity prayer. So it's just, I'm probably more spiritual. I am religious, but the prayer itself speaks to me. So it's, God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, and wisdom to know the difference.
Yeah.
So that's something that I wake up to and kind of just imprint in my head to start my day, because that's how you get to the day, man. I feel like it's human nature to stress over things we can't control sometimes. So to have that constant reminder really, not just my mood, but I feel like when you take the steps to have a positive mindset, there you can just see the difference in so many other facets of life. So that's good to hear that you're taking time, doing your affirmations, because that's important. I feel like some people are like, oh, okay, that's kind of cheesy or whatever, but
Yeah. I know.
it makes a difference, man. Like it makes a difference. It's all about positivity, because we live in a world where the negativity always gets covered more than the positivity. So you gotta have
Absolutely.
that, gotta have those vibes out there, man.
Yeah, 100%. And, I'll be honest, man, the whole daily affirmations thing is only something that I've been doing for about 2 months now. And it's really
Mhm.
helped me a ton, just how I set the tone for my day, how I set the tone for the day for my team. They've been very receptive towards the positivity. And then in turn, we see great outcomes. And I've only implemented because I went out of my way to invest in a business coach and a mindset coach. Because before then, like I've been meditating for about 3.5 years now. So that's helped a lot. And just having a mindset coach, she really challenged me to, do a little bit of journaling, acknowledge my thoughts, acknowledge my emotions,
Mhm.
do the daily affirmations. And that's been a total game changer. So I'm definitely an advocate for it.
So you said you've been doing the meditating for about 3.5 years.
Yeah.
How is that? So I have been trying to find the right way for myself to meditate, and it's just like nothing I try works. So do you have any tips about that? Because I want to, but I feel like it doesn't work for me. I feel like I haven't
Gotcha.
found the right way to truly just center myself and actually meditate.
Yeah, for sure. So you said something there that's really interesting. You're like, it hasn't worked for me, right? And it could be one of those things that maybe it's not supposed to work for you, or maybe
Mhm.
it just doesn't click, right? And that's normal. Everybody has that one thing that works for them and then other things that simply don't. But if you want to keep giving it a try until you like, okay, finally, like I got it, it's to really be clear with the intention of why you're meditating. Like, what's the true reason you're even exploring that option? Is it to, get more clarity on your thoughts or emotions? Is it to spend more time with yourself and understand yourself more? Right? Because there's so many positive things that come from meditation, building self-awareness, even getting more confident, getting more clarity about a multitude of things. So it's really addressing what is your intention first. And then when you go and try it, you're like, this is why I'm here. And then you try it out, and then maybe it might be easier.
Okay. Okay. Thanks for the tip. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so you mentioned your goals earlier. So let's segue into that now. So, and what are, let's start, I guess, with the short-term goals. What are the
Okay.
short-term goals for you in reference? I mean, it doesn't even have to just be your business. It could just be life in general. Just, what where do you want to see yourself, and what are your short-term goals?
Yeah. So, short term, I'm going to just talk maybe 6 to 12 months. So right now there's only really two short-term goals, and short-term goals they might change from time to time in a very short amount of time as well. But short-term goal number one is to have OPM Mastery hit a 75K month before the end of the year. So we're on track to hit that at some point in the next 3 months. It could be October, it might not be, but definitely maybe November or December. So that's the first short-term goal. And then the other one is to just move into a new place with the wife that feels a little bit more like home. We've been at the place that we're at now for I think 2 years, and we just kind of like, all right, let's just find a place to where we can find some stability for the next 2 years, and I can get my shit together when it comes to my business. So we kind of just settled for this place, but we want something that truly feels like home. So hopefully that happens within the next 6 to 12 months. So those are the only two short-term goals right now.
Yeah, take care of that, man. Take care of that.
Yeah.
That's important. You like, that's where you spend, that's where you sleep so much of your time. You gotta feel comfortable at home, man.
Yeah,
That's important. Um,
exactly.
me and my fiance, we just got our first apartment together, and it's so we had been kind of living together. Like I had a roommate, and she'd pretty much be with me there, but uh, roommate and girlfriend all together is that was crazy. So having our own place, it's a nice little apartment.
Yeah.
We're like kind of outdoorsy people, so it's got a nice big balcony, sit outside and stuff
Yeah.
like that. That stuff's important, man. That ties into like that kind of serenity and mental health too. Is you got to have a safe space. So it's good.
Absolutely.
So good luck with that. So are you guys looking to buy or
Um, yeah, we've actually tried going into the buying process before we settled for this place, and it was just so overwhelming. And it was just like, you know what, maybe we're like not mentally ready to go into all this, so let's buy ourselves some time. So this next place could be very well be our first, home buying experience. But yeah, we'll see what happens.
good luck with that, man? I hope that
Thank
works
you.
out for you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was looking into that too, but just I guess with the COVID, everything kind
Oh
of
man, it's
yeah,
it's messy, man. If you're not like we were talking about positive mindset and all of that, it is one of those things you have to try your best to stay positive in because things can go south so quickly. You get frustrated, you get into like not fights, like mini arguments, like is it even worth it at this point? It's an anxious process, man. So you want to just go in with the right mindset.
I hear that.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's shift to long term now. So what are some long term goals?
Yeah. So this is, I would say, 3 to 5 years. I do want OPM Mastery to be a $1 million a year company within the next 2 to 3 years. So
Okay.
that's one thing. We do want to have a central headquarters either in Miami or Vegas within the next 4 years. It's up for debate right now. I don't think next year is realistic. Who knows? Things could change, but maybe the year after that or the year after that.
Mhm.
And then lastly, give back to my family in some way within the next 5 years to make their lives easier. So I mentioned earlier, I'm super proud of them, but as I'm getting older, they're also getting older, and I
Right.
love all of them. So I just want to, in whatever fashion, give back to them and make their lives a bit easier. Yeah.
I hear that 100%, man. That one of my dreams I think about is being able to like buy my mom her dream house,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
and you know because you are who you come from,
Yeah. Exactly.
so that's important. I feel that, man.
Yeah.
So you said Vegas or Miami. So where are you guys located now?
All right. So we're all remote, all
Okay.
of us. So my co-founder and our third business partner, they're based in Vegas. And then we have some team members overseas. And then we have myself here. And then we had one, well, yeah, we have a team member in New Jersey and in Boston. So we're all over the place.
Okay.
So the goal is, if obviously the company is doing so well to where we can afford a headquarters or an office space, it would kind of show that confidence to the team members to be like, all right, let's make this move. Everybody buys into that. They're already bought into the vision. They know what we're capable of. So that's the ideal situation.
That's cool, man. Oh, Miami.
Yeah.
That could be fun. That could be fun.
Yeah.
That actually, people don't realize Miami is actually a really good business district, though. Like
Absolutely.
it's a booming business district. A lot of people have like their headquarters and stuff over there, and I mean, yeah, you know, the food's great.
Yeah.
The happy hours after work are probably amazing.
Yeah.
I'm sure. I haven't been to Vegas yet, though, but I'm sure Vegas is the same.
Yeah, no, Vegas is nice. I've been there like 3 times earlier this year, and it's definitely a vibe. I wouldn't mind it personally. The summers are bad though, man. It gets really hot out there, so I don't know how I feel about it. Yeah, so at least in Miami, it's like, you know what? If it's super hot and humid, go to the beach, cool off, go to the pool. At least you can deal with it that way. In Vegas, it's not that easy. So yeah, but it's still nice out there nonetheless.
Yeah, I went to Miami for the first time back in August for my birthday. Oh man, I don't think I could ever go to Ocean City again after that. Like just getting in. I don't even get in the water at Ocean City anymore. But like I got in the water at South Beach, and it was like amazing. For one, I could see what I'm getting into, and it was like all warm and tropical and stuff. I'm just like, this is what a beach is supposed to be like.
Yeah.
That's the one thing that I've been trying to do more now that I have a job where I get, you know, PTO and time to actually travel. So I haven't really been many places. Like I've been to like Philly and Carolinas and stuff like that, but like last summer I went to Denver a couple times, and that was super cool. God, the nicest people. I mean, I'm sure there's reasons why they're so nice, but
right.
nicest people. I mean, literally somebody walked up to me and was like, "Hey, how's your day going today?" And I'm like looking at them like
yeah. We're not used to that energy over here, man.
No, and that's what she said. She was just like, "Oh, you're not from here, are you?" And I was like, "No, I'm from back east." And she's like, "Oh, so yeah, we're a lot nicer out here. You'll get used to it." And I'm just like, it's crazy. I can't remember his name right now. Oh, I was I stopped at a dispensary just to see what it's like. And there's actually a dude that went to our high school that worked there. And he was like, "Yeah, I came out here to visit and I just like never came back." I was just like, "Oh,
love it, man."
So that's something I really want to do is travel. So do you get a lot of time to travel for business and pleasure, or just kind of?
Oh yeah, for sure. It definitely has its perks, man. The laptop lifestyle can definitely be real if I wanted to. So that's always nice. I think I traveled this year more than I have in the last, I don't know, 5 years combined. So it's pretty neat. Pretty much the moment I left my 9 to 5, I was like, let's do this. I'll go see. Yeah, I went to Vegas like 3 times. Then I came back from Vegas. Next week I went to Miami, came back. 2 weeks later, it was the wife's birthday. We went back to Miami. So it's definitely nice to have that flexibility. Now, the only thing is I try to be mindful in situations like that because I wouldn't say the business is super successful yet. We're doing great. We're trending in a positive direction, but it doesn't mean complacency can come in, you know? So in some of the trips, I did have to unplug a little bit and be like, hey, I'm here with the family. Leave me alone. I'm going to go to the room. I'll catch you guys at the boardwalk or whatever in like 3 hours, but I got to like just get locked in. So just knowing that if I can't always completely unplug, you know?
I hear that. That's important, man. Complacency is that's the downfall of man right there. Complacency. Oh man, and it's so easy to get complacent.
It is
so easy. Even my business has been like open and operational since like May, and I've already felt myself getting complacent and stuff. So I'm like, right now I'm doing like repairs, but my longer term goals are to focus on like government contracting and start being able to bid on those and do what I do. Pretty much
Yeah.
do what I do for my job now, but just work for myself. Um,
Yeah.
that's a long term goal, but I've kind of been stagnant about getting there. So I'm glad you brought that up because it's so easy to get complacent, but you have to be able to kind of snap yourself out of it and be able to lock in. So that's important. I like that. Lock in. That's a good
Yeah.
terminology for it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So let me ask. So we've got the goals. We've got where the vision came from and the purpose. So what's next?
What's next? That's a great question. That is a great question. Um, right now, I actually made an Instagram post about this, I think earlier this week, is now that I know exactly how to scale with my team on OPM, and now that I know and have the clarity on how I want to serve through the coaching program, those are really the two things, going back to that word, I want to lock in on for
Mhm.
until OPM hits 75K a month and even beyond that, until, you know, I'm getting, steady paychecks, because as co-founders, we take L's for a few months. Even if the business is going good, we always settle for less. So
Yeah.
until we can consistently pay ourselves out as well. It's just to stay focused, no changes at all, aside from like moving, right? But just everything's working. So if I change anything now, it might impact what's already working, and that's always going backwards, right? There, in one of my trainings, in my coaching program, I talk about, if you're going to try something new, make sure it doesn't impact what's already working. Because that's what happens sometimes. You try to do one little change, thinking it won't impact the rest of your life or your business, but it will. And then now you're having to go backwards, fix it, all of that. So that's it for me. Just consistency, stay the path. We're in the right direction, and that's it, man.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
I like that. All right.
yeah.
So that's the so are you guys? Because you mentioned paycheck. So how many employees do you guys have like beyond the leadership?
Yeah. So aside from leadership, that's three. We have five other team members. So we're still a pretty small, close knit team. Yeah,
Okay.
but we started off with just two people, and to be at eight is a pretty nice feeling in less than 11 months. So not too
Yeah,
bad.
I'm gonna say less than a year. That's super impressive, man. That's
Yeah.
good. That's good.
Yeah.
Wow. So, but you have gotten a paycheck for yourself, or you still getting there?
No, no, we're good now. We
Okay,
started,
that's good.
but it's still like, all right, guys, we take more? Probably, but we won't.
Hey,
So maybe if we hit this next milestone, over the course of the next 3 months, we could be like,
well,
all right, guys, it's
not
official
if,
stone we've done.
not if, when.
When,
There we
when,
go.
when we
There
will.
we go.
Yeah, exactly. I love it. I love it. Manifesting,
There we
manifesting.
go.
Yeah.
That's another
So,
thing, man. Like manifesting. That's something else I've been trying to get into because that eliminates all those self-limited thoughts. And
mhm,
self-limited thoughts don't always have to be like super negative. It could just be like that. Like,
yeah,
if we get there. No, no, no. It's when you will get
exactly.
there. It's just not a matter
Yeah.
of if, it's when.
It's funny you caught me there. So my mindset coach, she pushes us a lot to, say like I am, or we are, language like that. And then
Mhm.
the thing is, for me, I struggled for a lot of years with limiting beliefs, man. So it's like it becomes a bad habit in a sense for yourself. So I've only had this kind of coaching and that challenge and accountability for 2 months. So I've made a lot of improvements, but
Right.
just like in this moment right now, I find myself slipping. So it's always great to have someone be like, no, don't say if, you got this. Like we can make it happen. So I appreciate that.
Hey, takes a village, man. I'll tell you a funny
Yeah.
story. So my fiance, oh God, I only did this for like half a day because it was so annoying. So she's very supportive of me and very encouraging. So I was kind of in one of those funks where I'm just all negative and all just letting all the anxiety and self-limiting thoughts take over. And
No.
she puts a rubber band on my wrist and she's like, I want you to pluck yourself every time you have a negative thought. And within that first hour, when I realized how much I had to pluck myself, I had like a little bruise. I was just like, damn.
Yeah.
And that was really eye-opening for me, seeing how easy and effortless it is to really have those negative self-limiting thoughts. And you
Yeah.
really have to reprogram your mind
You
to
do.
not do that. That's a work in progress. Like I'm nowhere near completing that mission, but I don't think it's a stopping. I don't think it ever stops. So you get to kind of keep constantly
Exactly. Yeah.
doing that. But
Yeah.
it's really eye opening when you really sit back and like, damn, man, I gotta get out of that negative mindset because that you'll never reach your full. Because I feel like growing up, you always hear about your potential and oh, you could do great things. You have so much potential. I feel like the first step to really unlocking that potential is to acknowledge yourself. It's you can hear it from other people,
Yeah.
and because like just like you said, I was not a scholar in high school. I was that guy. Didn't do any homework. I would just pass my tests and do good on projects, and I kind of slid by.
Yeah.
But
Definitely.
I remember I had English. I had Miss Adkins, and oh man, of course, at the moment having her, I couldn't stand her. Could not stand her. She was so hard on me. But
Yeah.
I was senior year of high school. I had a lot going on, like just home stuff, and just mentally, I was in a rough place.
Yeah.
Like senior, because I had her senior and junior year, so both of those years, I was kind of in a rough place, a down place. And self confidence was like non-existent. And I
Mhm.
remember, I think it was a senior or junior year. I I was like on the verge of not passing English, which is really embarrassing. This is my language. Like it's a language
Hey, I've been there too, man. No shame.
and I aced my final and my project. And like the class was surprised. I was surprised. And she
Yeah.
was just like, only one who's not surprised is me.
Yeah.
And I probably could have cried when she said that because that just the fact that I was probably her most difficult student. I was that smart ass who would debate about everything and just all of that. The fact that I could be that person and that she still believed in me, that helped me so much with my confidence because that for that one split second, it was like, her telling me that made me believe that I can do this, I can do that. And you know, I think I finished when I finished high school, I think I finished like a 3.0 something, which was good for me. I said I was, oh God, I was just
Yeah.
like barely there. If I was there, I was probably asleep.
Yeah.
Um, I'm a heavy sleeper. I remember I had Mr. Kell, and Mr.
Uh-huh.
Kell would literally lift my desk and like slam it on the ground whenever I fall asleep.
Yeah.
But just long story short, that I opened my eyes to seeing my potential, and then I look back at that a lot, and I'm just like, yeah, man, like positivity, like you got to keep pushing it. You had because it's almost like a war, I would say. The negative and the positive. It's like having the angel that kind of paradigm with
Yep.
the angel and the devil on your shoulder. And I feel like that's kind of real to an extent, but I think it's not evil and good. I think it's more just like positive and negative. You really have to make sure that the positive is outweighing all of that, especially times like this. And that was the question I forgot to ask.
Yeah.
Um, how did COVID affect your business? Because you're really just starting out around the same time as
Yeah.
everything crashes.
Um, it's interesting. So we actually didn't get impacted by COVID at all. It actually
Mhm.
helped accelerate our business, which we didn't really expect. So I'm definitely grateful for that. Um, yeah, we got. I think we were one of the lucky ones. It's kind of like when you think back to the Great Recession, right? How many
Mhm.
businesses failed or went under because of that, but then there were some businesses that exploded because of it, right? And I think we just
Right.
got
Yeah.
lucky. Maybe our business model and how we operated allowed us to survive that storm. If we had a different business model or if we were in a different industry, it could have been entirely different.
That's good to hear, man. That's good to
Yeah.
hear. I'll be honest with you. I don't even think I would have had the time to think about starting up my own business if it wasn't for
Yeah.
the pandemic. Because so when I got into IT, literally my first day was supposed to be like what was supposed to be my first day was when they shut everything down. And I
Mm,
said I'm a government contractor, so I work in the government.
yeah.
So I still had a job at a dealership, but then they furloughed all of us.
Yeah.
And because of that, I couldn't get unemployment. So I was just kind of sitting on the shelf for like 2 months. And technically I had two jobs.
Yeah.
But I wasn't getting paid by either one of them. And that really hit me. And I just kind of thought about it. I'm like, damn, man, like I felt
Yeah.
like helpless.
Mhm.
And everyone's telling me, oh, don't stress about things you can't control. But to me, that was something I could control. And then that's what really opened my mind to like even thinking, asking myself the question, like, what could I do to work for myself?
Yeah.
Like, and at the time, like I said, I didn't know. And as I kind of continued working and honing my craft in IT and realizing how, because I'll let you in a little secret, IT is so easy. Literally anybody can do it.
Yeah. That's awesome.
If you can read, you can do IT because maybe 70, no, 65% of my job is Google. It's so easy. And it's
Yeah.
so easy a caveman could do it, like they used to say for Geico. Um,
Yeah.
so I love it. It's the first kind of job I had where I felt passionate about it. So I love to help people,
Yeah.
and that's literally all I do all day is help people fix their computers. And it's like they treat you like a superhero. I'm just like, I mean,
Yeah. They do.
just doing my job. I'm just like, matter of fact, I'll even show you how to keep this from happening again. They're like, oh my gosh, I like going above and beyond helping people. Like people ask when someone asks me what makes you happy. I think one of the first things I always say is like to see other people happy. That makes me happy. I just like to be able to contribute some positivity to somebody's day. Um,
Yeah.
and I don't necessarily need anything in return for that. It just feels good to know that I've
Yeah.
touched somebody in even the smallest way. Um, so yeah, so that's it. I feel you when you say the pandemic. It's like it sucks and it's had so many negative effects, but I feel like you can't shy away from the motivation. I feel like a lot of people. I've been watching the news reluctantly, um, and they keep talking about this like mass resignation going on. A lot of people are quitting their
Yeah.
jobs and starting
Hmm.
their own businesses and stuff. And I love to see that because, well, now don't just quit your job. Make sure you have something in place and have a plan. But
Yeah.
I love to see people taking a chance on themselves. That's literally all it takes. When I actually got my business started and got my LLC and all that, all I was thinking about was like, damn, I should have done this years ago. It's so easy. That's the easy part. The easy part is
Yeah.
actually starting the business. Just
Hmm.
pay the stuff to get your tax ID number and all that stuff and
Yeah.
your LLC or Inc, whatever you want to get. That's the easy part. I mean, now maintaining a business that's the hard part. But like I said, for me right now, I'm a one man show, so I do it all. I do my own website and all that stuff. But
You control the outcome and the effort.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. And I like having that control. I never want to be in that position where if the world shuts down again,
Exactly.
I'm helpless.
Yeah.
You know?
It's interesting, man. So pretty much in it was 2020. The pandemic, I guess, officially kicked off with shutdowns in like late March,
Yeah.
and I was working at the bank still. So yeah, that whole year I was at the bank. I was working my crazy 14, 15 hours a day, and we had this rotational system in our staff where I would work for a whole week, but then the whole other week I was off. Right. When they introduced that, I was like, it's a wrap. I know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna double down. I'm like, if I'm working,
Right.
like I'm at home, not working, getting paid to be at home. You know, let me double down on grinding my business. Let me get this popping, right? And I did exactly that. And then when it was late August going into September, they're like, all right, everyone's back every single week, 40 hours, the usual. I'm like, all right, cool. So from one point, I had so much progress in that time that I was home, and now I might lose that progress, right? But I maintained it nonetheless, like it was fine. But then what happened is, out of nowhere, because of the impact of the pandemic, half of my team got laid off just randomly. One day we showed up. I even like I could feel the vibes. I'm like, huh, something feels off today.
Right.
And then manager rolls up, you, and you come to the back. Next thing you know, people are packing their stuff and off they go. So luckily I was like, wow, that could have just happened to me, you know. And then on the other hand, some of the people that were laid off were, I was pretty close with them. They were hardworking people. It didn't make sense, you know. And from that moment, like, even if I was spared 6 months from now or however long this thing lingers, that may not be the case next time, right? And so I was
Right.
like, I've already been putting in the work. I'm even more motivated to put in the work. And then I think it was at that exactly that moment in September where I was like, all right, I'm coming up with a plan. So I started saving like crazy. All of those paychecks. I was living very, very frugally. Um, and I just saved. And then my goal was to quit in, I think, June or July of 2021.
Mhm.
And when we got to March, I was like, one, now we're overwhelmed with the additional workload. And then two, like I'm just so ready to go that I can't even wait till June or July. So at that point, I was like, all right, in May, I'm out. Right. And going
Mhm.
back to what you were saying around don't just quit your job, right? Have a plan. It
Please,
was that,
people.
exactly. Please, please, please do not just quit all willy nilly. It is, some people do it, but it is easier said than actually done. When 2 weeks goes by and you haven't gotten your normal paycheck, you're going to start sweating. You're going to be like, oh, snap,
Yes.
what did I do? Right. So the best thing you can do is bite the bullet, grind for 6 months or whatever, save it, don't go out, don't get no Starbucks coffee, save as much as you can. I think I did like 5 months of expenses saved up.
Mhm.
So I took it to a real big extreme, but at least I felt good going into, you know, full time in the business, right? So I just wanted to add that on top of what you were saying. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, man. People, please don't, because I never did that. But I was younger, did that. I was like a general manager of a Jimmy John's, and I was like burnout and there's a whole bunch of shades of going with the company. And I thought I had something lined up at Fridays.
Mm,
So I quit on the spot, mic drop, all that stuff. It's like, yeah, boom. Didn't work out at Fridays. Took me about three
yeah.
months to find a job.
Yeah. That's tough, man.
So even if you think you have something, until you sign the
Mm-hmm.
paperwork and have a start date and have, get your direct deposit form filled out and all that, people just be careful, please, because that's I
Yeah.
don't want to see anybody, because unemployment is not as nice as it used to be anymore. So
It sure isn't. That's for sure.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, let me ask. So I know we're kind of coming close on time here. I
We're
don't
good,
want to keep
man.
it
No
too
worries.
late. So
Yeah.
give me the pitch. So if someone asked you, why should I come to you for any variety? Because you have a variety of different services you do between the two companies. So what's the, I don't want to say pitch, but like, or what's the mission statement? Like, what if I was a potential client, how would you connect with me to make me want to do business together? This is your little
Yeah.
moment to advertise.
Gotcha. So rather than doing it in a pitch style, I'll probably just share with you things that we actually hear from customers or even people that hop on calls with us. And even if they
Mhm.
don't buy from us or work with us initially, they still go out of their way to say this. We have been recognized, and this is for OPM Mastery. We've been
Okay.
recognized over and over and over again for the level of ethics, for the way we have that serving approach rather than selling approach, right? We're
Mhm.
extremely consumer oriented. Customer experience is at the heart of our business, right? So it's all about the customer. We are fully aware that without the customer, we're not in business. And there are, unfortunately, when certain businesses out there get to a certain point, they lose sight of that. So that's something that we've integrated in our culture. And it's very, very much obvious that it is ingrained in our culture, in our marketing language and everything. Um, and not only have we been recognized for that, but the fact that folks literally tell us on the phone, they're like, yeah, like talking to you guys, I like I feel good about talking to you guys. I feel confident in the plan that you just shared with me in regards to how I can get my credit back on track, or how I can obtain a bunch of unsecured funding through lines of credit. Like, I understand it. It's transparent. It's right to the point. No fluff. It's all about what good will it do you, not us. That's easily portrayed.
Right.
If you talk to any of the team members, if you talk to any of the management folks, that's how it is across the board. All right. It has that personal touch. We get it done. I'm not going to go into like, oh, we have this feature, this feature. It's just about how we do it. Like we actually walk the walk. You know what I mean?
I like that. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So that's all I have to say. And I think we had some folks on social media, actually, like, rather it's in the comment section, or I can't remember if they sent an email, but they tell us, like, we've actually witnessed your progress from when you launched earlier this year to now. You guys are building something special. This is someone that isn't a customer. This is someone who's just watching and still like, let me find out a little bit more of who they are, how they go about their business. And who knows, maybe they will be a customer at some point. But the fact that they went out of their way to tell us like what you guys are building is special, I think that by itself speaks volumes. It may not for some people, but for our ideal customer, we want them to understand that. And so if
Right.
the message is out there, people are saying that, that's enough validation for both the customer, but also for ourselves.
I love to hear it, man. And what
Yep.
about Oak Media?
Oak Media, I'll say this. The coaching program is something that is for either aspiring entrepreneurs or for existing entrepreneurs struggling or having lack of clarity in what to do to scale their business. And that comes in the form of customer experience, their operations, their digital marketing and branding. So with my really diverse experience over the course of 5 and 6 years in e-commerce, in financial services, in operations, in compliance, in everything, I've developed a framework that touches exactly on those three things during this 3-month period where I coach people. We work on your customer experience. I even help you adopt that mindset of being consumer centric because it works. Unfortunately, it's something so simple, but it's so overlooked. So that's a big focus point for me, is getting you in that mindset. Once we've covered your customer experience, I then help you optimize your operations so it complements the customer experience. And if you can nail both of those down, your marketing message is going to be that much more confident. Like, you yourself are going to buy into your own capabilities now that you've actually focused and addressed those pain points in those two areas in your business. So again, I approach it with a place of serving. The experience is there to back it up. I'm only doing it because I finally hit the milestones in my own business. So I actually
Right.
delayed launching Scaling with Impact for about 6 months because I was like, I haven't hit the milestones or the standards yet in my own business. And until I do that, I will not, go do this for anyone else. So now that I've done that, it's something that I'm confident that it is a one size fits all. I will go as far as saying that. The framework, the way of the program, it's a one size fits all. It's for anybody.
Well, I like how you waited until you felt like you were in a place to direct people there, because that's the kind of transparency, at least in my
Yeah.
opinion, I think people want in business when they go into business with somebody. Because even though, yes, you're technically, I guess, it's a product. I feel like this is really more of like be almost like business partners, like going into business together, because you're investing your knowledge and time and energy to help someone else flourish in their business. And I feel like that goes beyond selling a product or anything like that.
Oh yeah.
That goes back to community.
Absolutely. It's a two-way street, right? And it goes back to me when I was highlighting the coaching program earlier. I'm not looking for volume. I'm not looking for quantity. I'm looking for quality, right? So when folks are coming to me talking about, oh, can we work together? I'm like, this is a two-way street. I work, you're making an investment. You get 3 months of JP and everything I have to offer. We touch 3 core areas in your business, not just digital marketing, not just customer experience, all 3. And it's not even just for the solopreneur out there. It can be for their teams, so like, that's just how I laid it out. It's what's in alignment with me. Because there's a lot of coaching programs out there that are just like
Mhm.
focused on one thing, and they still charge, in most cases, a pretty high ticket price, right? It's like, great, so you're going to make this massive, almost 10K investment to just learn one thing, and then are you really getting the hands-on coaching? Because most high-ticket coaching programs out there, you're getting a course. Like, yes, I have a course, but I'm also very hands-on, because that's
Right.
what I want to do. I want to be hands-on. That's the whole reason why I did this. I could have launched this 6 months ago, but again, to your point, is I want people to know, like, I've been through the trenches. I came out of it. I hit the milestones. And then the framework I'm teaching them is exactly the framework I implemented in my other business. Right. So I think that's just the best way to go about it.
Well, and you're right, man. The hands-on approach, like I said, that transparency. And this is something I learned selling cars, that people don't necessarily do business with you because you have the best price or the best product or whatever. When it boils down to it, most people are going to do business with you because they like you and they relate
Mhm.
to you and they feel that they can trust you.
No.
So that's key. And one thing you touched on, the quality over quantity, I think is so important. In any kind of business. But I will say keep it up because eventually the quantity will come because of the quality.
Oh
And
yeah.
I feel
No.
like people, that's probably something you tell your clients, but I feel like people, you know, they don't, that goes to just kind of manifesting like, you know what, I'm going to give it all and make sure the quality is where it needs to be and the standards are where they need to be. Um,
No.
Funny thing. So I watch a lot of Hell's Kitchen. I'm a huge Gordon Ramsay fan.
Yeah. Yeah.
And no one, a lot of people don't understand why he gets so upset. And it's because he's investing his time and energy to teach you his standards.
Hmm.
And that is why he's at the top of the food game, because he has the highest standards.
Yep.
Quality. He's all
Yep.
about quality. He's all about maintaining those standards no matter what. He would rather have somebody wait a few minutes longer for a perfect risotto than you send some, you know, lackluster dish
Hmm.
out there just because we're running behind in the kitchen. And that says a lot. Like you
Absolutely.
have to have that quality, because once you do, the quantity won't be a problem. It's going to come
Oh
because
yeah.
everyone's going to see that quality and want a taste of it.
100%. That couldn't be more accurate.
No. So man, it's been great, man. So we're wrapping. I know it's a little bit after 8. It's been great talking to you and catching up. I said we haven't really talked much since high school, and that's another reason I'm doing this. It's really nice to connect with people and hear their stories, and see where everyone's at. And we'll be in touch. There's something I want to do probably within the next year once I get a good cast of people on, and I want to do
Yeah.
maybe like some kind of networking event or like a brunch to get all the guests who've been on the show or something, which is mostly going to be entrepreneurs like yourself. Have them all come together, network, and break bread, drink mimosas, all
Yeah.
that kind of stuff. So we'll be in touch. I want to get that plan probably. Maybe I'm aiming for the summer. Depends on how
Yeah.
many guests I have. But it's been great. It's been a pleasure not just having you on here, but hearing your story, business life, all of that. Congratulations again on the marriage.
Thank you,
And
man. Appreciate it. Likewise.
you know, I'm manifesting. I'm not going to wish you luck. I'm going to manifest continued success for your businesses,
Thank
both
you,
of
man.
them. And
Appreciate it.
thanks for being on the show. Pleasure having you. I feel like I already said that, but thanks, man. It was
You're
lovely
good,
having you.
man.
You're welcome back anytime.
Thank
And
you.
be safe out there, all that good stuff.
Yeah, you as well, man. Thanks for the opportunity to come on here. I love what you're doing. Keep up the great work. And whenever you get that event up and running, I'll definitely show up and we can all deliver this massive amount of positive energy and value to each other. I'm looking forward to it.
There we go. That's what I like to hear, man. Sounds like a plan. All right.
Yeah.
Take care. All right.
All right. Take care.